Hey guys, Cloverjack here, bringing you your November 2018 forecast for the sign of Taurus. Now I have pre-shuffled the cards, and I just want to say real quick that the decks I use, if you're not familiar with them, the pip cards or the minor arcanas don't have the same imagery or even remotely close to any kind of imagery like regular tarot cards do. They read more like regular playing cards with the addition of the major arcana in them. So if you are used to looking at the cards and getting some kind of additional information yourself because you know a little bit about reading tarot cards, don't expect to be able to do that here unless you know, you're used to reading cards with no imagery at all. This is just the way I go. I kind of learned how to read regular playing cards and tarot cards at the same time, so I really like using a mix of both. Actually, I think we're good shuffling. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to cut this deck. Cut. Okay, what do we have for you guys? Oh, okay. 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 You won't be able to see this, and in fact, some of this you can't really see anyway. Boo. Boo, bad setup. Boo, bad setup. I gotta figure out a better setup here. Oh, hey, look, that's better. By accident. Okay, I like that. You will not be able to see this because it's probably going to go off screen. So I'm just going to show it to you now. Your overall energy for the month is the Page of Wands. I'm going to put him right over here. Oh, hey, look, you can see him. This new setup's actually kind of better. I like it. Okay, well, let's take a look at your cards. I think it goes without saying that somebody, or at least the majority of you, probably have money on the brain, or at least material possessions on the brain. I think a lot of you are really money focused. Saving mostly, yeah. I was going to say investing, but I don't really feel like that's the case for most of you. I do see a bit of wealth distribution here, but it's not like investing with an expectation for a return. It just feels more like, you know, like if you have $50 and there are 5 people and, you know, everyone needs to go buy something, you know, you give $10 to every person. It feels more like that, almost like an allowance kind of distribution, more than anything else. That said, I feel like some blocks on money are going to be lifted. I mean, like, if you've been having a really hard time with money, if you've just been working really hard lately and not seeing any money come in, like withheld paychecks, clients not paying on time, if someone owes you money and, you know, it's just been out, or if you're waiting on a loan to come in, I feel like there's been a lot of blocks, a lot of waiting, a lot of blocks. But I feel like it's coming in now, like now, as in whenever you're watching this video, that's when it's going to start coming in. Or at least that's when the blocks are going to be lifted for you to stop coming in. But it's not going to be like a rush of cash. It feels more like a trickle, a slow trickle. But it's a slow, steady trickle, and it will just continuously to get like a steadier, heavier trickle. It's like a leak that just gets worse and worse and worse. But in this case, it's a good thing because that means more money for you. Now, for some of you, I caution against relaxing when this money comes in, because I feel like some of you will have a tendency to spend it just about as fast as it comes in, so you're going to end up with basically a hole in your pocket, you know, as coins go in, coins go out. Be careful about that. I do feel like this is more you wanting to save, and I would actually. This seems like a really weird thing to say. There's not a whole lot of pentacles in your future. There's the start of pulling in more pentacles in your future, and I do think it'll take like a couple of months before you get into like a really thick, heavy stream of coins that keep falling into your wallet. You know what I mean? But for like the next 2-3 months, I be cautious. No, not cautious. Be aware of what you're spending and how you're spending it and what you're spending it on, and in some cases, who you're spending it on. A couple of you, there may be people who don't ask for money but might ask for things, and those things add up to a lot of money. And I think for you, because they seem like really small purchases, you're just like, oh yeah, okay, I can get that, I can get that, I can get that, and before you know it, like, $12 $3 items, you're spending way more than you thought you were, right? I'm definitely getting that. Definitely getting that. I don't want to say hoard your money, but if any of you don't have a budget and feel like you should have a budget, this is a good time to make that budget. I mean, like, we're talking weighing scales here. I know some people look at the justice card and go, hey, that's about, like bringing in justice. It's about like, fairness and equality. And I'm looking at this in terms of, with all these pentacles here, this is an accountant card. This is someone who's literally taking all of their coins, putting them in the scale, and weighing them to make sure that, yes, in fact, those are actual gold. That does weigh what it should weigh. That's definitely what I'm getting here. Now, for some of you, you might be making a small purchase. Well, what kind of prediction is that, right? Small purchase. Everything we do is a small purchase. I don't mean it quite like that, though. When I say the small purchase, I mean like this purchase is a bit like a seed. Now, when I say seed, what I mean is, how do I explain it? Okay. So say you really want to make jewelry, right? When I say you're making a small purchase, this small purchase would be like towards beads or towards new beading pliers or towards new, wire or anything like that. And then that tiny purchase spirals into something big that starts increasing your coin count. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like a small purchase like, hey, I bought a soda today. It's not something like that. This is a small purchase towards something that will eventually bring you more money, but it's not necessarily an investment. So it's not like you pay out $10 into a scratch ticket, for example, and expect to get 1,000 back. That never happens. Don't do that. Well, it happens, but such rare occasions that it's just not worth it unless you have that kind of disposable income, or you want to parlay stuff. You want to parlay stuff? Go for it. That's always a safe way to do it. Keep your gambling habits under check. Speaking of gambling, there really isn't a whole lot of gambling here, but I feel like there could be a tendency to, or that someone around you may gamble and may kind of try and coerce you into it. This is not a good time for that. Wait until Jan or February before you really start gambling, I think. But yeah, it doesn't feel like an investment. It feels like a seed. It feels like, for some of you, it could be you buying a book, like a little $10 book or something. And it's not really a how-to book, but it's some kind of book that has a story in there with an anecdote. And all of a sudden you read that anecdote and go, hey, that gives me an idea. And then that kind of spirals into something else. Something good. Whatever the seed is, it's good. It's a good seed. It's a good seed. If you feel an impulse to buy something that's within your budget, that's not like a huge spend or whatever, I would say go for it, so long as it feels like it's something you want to do for yourself. This isn't a seed this isn't a purchase that you're going to make for someone else. Though in some cases I feel like someone might be making this small purchase for you, in which case this actually comes through as a gift. But it's not like an expensive gift. It's like a cheap gift. Like it kind of feels like a book or like a set of tools or, a deck of playing cards or, like it feels something little like that. Like little, but it turns into something bigger. For those of you who've been working really, really hard and long hours, or if you're a student and you're studying midterms and you're just focusing all in on that, workload's going to ease up. Going to ease up a bit. Well, quite a bit, actually. There's a lot of seed energy here. When I say seed energy, I've never heard anyone say the term seed energy. I should call it gardener energy is what I should call it, because it's planting intentions. It's I guess some people will call it setting intentions or trying to manifest something or something like that, but to me it feels more like growth. Like you plant a seed and you wait for it to grow. And you're very intentional about what you're growing, right? Which is why I say seeds and not so much manifesting, because when you manifest things, you can manifest things you don't want or you don't intend, but when you plant seeds, those are incredibly intentional. I mean, no gardener or farmer goes out and just says, hey, I wonder what this seed is, going to put it in the ground, find out what happens. They always know, like, hey, this is a corn seed. If I plant this, I'm going to get corn. I don't know when I'm going to get corn, but I'm going to get corn. It's more like that. I feel like in the past, very recent past, you've probably had an idea or two about how to go about something or something you can change in your life, and that's going to make things so much better. For most of you, this is around work. For some of you, this is around R&R, like rest and relaxation, a little bit more self-carry. And it's a little bit of a bee in the bonnet that you have. Like maybe you set a goal for yourself, like I'm going to take a bubble bath once a week, right? It can be something little like that. But I feel like it's a really good thing, because this whole month here is about balancing the scales. It's about coming out of a time where things were really, really, really tough in terms of workload, and where they lighten up a bit. Now, for some of you, this might even be like you had ideas about how to make your work more efficient. Yeah, more efficient. And that eases up your workload. Like maybe you found a new tool and suddenly like you don't have to spend 20 minutes doing this one task anymore. You can spend 3 minutes. Like that is a huge time saver, and then your brain thanks you afterwards because it's not half as tired at the end of the day. Yeah, and you know, like this is all about you being very, very intentional about where you put your time, money, and energy. There's only one court card here, and it's a page, and I kind of feel like the page is more you. I feel like that is the gardener energy. It's you kind of saying, look, I'm growing things. Look, I'm bringing this about. Look, this is my thing, right? But it's young. It's still like in the developmental stage. It's still sprouting. It's little. I mean, you're not going to harvest cucumbers off of a sprout, you know? You got to wait till it grows completely. And it will. You know what? I think it's going to grow real fast. I mean, we go from a page to a knight over here. Does anyone else think it's funny that my knight cards have like an N on them instead of a K? It does that because they only use single letters, and there's the knight and the king, so they use an N. But I always find that funny because I'm like, I should read that as N-I-G-H-T instead of N, you know. But I digressed. Anyway, this feels real fast to me. Like, real fast. And it's going to go really well. Like, you go from a page to a knight, like, I want to say, like, fast. I think it slows down a little bit after that, because I think you weren't expecting whatever this was to go so well. I think you were just like, you know, it'd be really cool if this would work. I'm going to just try it. Let's just try it, right? And it goes bam and takes right off. And you're just like, whoa, 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 horsey, whoa, horsey, whoa, horsey. Slow down. I can't go that fast. I just learned how to get on. Right? But it goes really, really well. I know that doesn't say like there's a whole lot here about emotional fulfillment. You have no cups here. Like, it is money. It is, I mean, you've got one sword card and the rest are coins and wands, right? Like, that's pretty telling about kind of where your mental space is. You're definitely more in the physical plane. Like, I don't feel like there's any emotional hang-ups here, you know? Like, there's no one who's, you know, screwing with you. There's no mind games. There's no hostility. like this is all not happening internally because these are all very physical cards, right? Like Pentacles kind of represent for me not just money, but like physical possessions, things that happen in the real world, things that you own. And then Wands are more like, you know, the things that you can do. So for me, the mix of them just feels like it's totally in your physical space, and you're just like right in the zone. And I want to say it's like a creation zone, like a creativity zone. Some of you, this is really tied to work. There's definitely a strong entrepreneurial vibe here. But for others of you, this feels more like, you know, you're just kind of getting your physical space in the way you want it to be. Like maybe you finally found that right shade of blue for your house, the inside of your house, and you're going to spend, you know, like the month painting every wall on and off, right? Like it can be little things like that, but it just feels real good. Like afterwards you feel hella accomplished. I just said hella. I did not mean to do that. Forget all about that. You didn't hear anything. But yeah, there's a balancing of the scales, like balancing of the coin purse. You're going to save, you should save about as much as you spend. So if you spend $50, save $50 if you can. I mean, I know some people aren't in this situation where they can, but that's really kind of like the mindset where I feel like you should be for this month in particular. For those of you who are going into like some sort of entrepreneurial venture or who have some sort of creative project, I feel like it will cost money eventually because there is some money going out. And some of you do have the hole in the pocket syndrome where the money goes out as fast as it comes in. But I feel like this is going to lead, and I obviously have not done December yet, but I feel like this is going to lead to a lot more coins coming in. Now, for those of you who aren't entrepreneurs, but this is still kind of related to work, and I say there's more money coming in, what I mean is the money gets easier when it comes in. Like, it doesn't feel like it's such a chore to get the money, right? Like, it feels better. Yeah, I mean, like, this is just a lot of, like, I accomplished this, I did it, right? Like, I did it. I did it. That's the vibe I get. I did it. I made this happen. I am hot stuff. Anywho, that is pretty clear cut, and I think that's all I have for you. If this resonated, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you like, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.